every program there was, she mastered it.
Right.
And then it was like implement, train, implement. So every single person, every employee, every single person on the team was like, look, if you see something in this video in TRP that we're not doing to perfection, I want you to come talk to me about it, because I want to know what we're doing and how we can do it better. And so once that happened, we literally almost doubled the practice.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
At Genesis, we help successful chiropractors implement spinal decompression with a fully turnkey system that handles everything from marketing and new patient generation to systems, protocols, and ongoing support. The result? Massive value for your practice and life-changing outcomes for your patients, all without drugs or surgery. This is the next evolution in chiropractic care. Welcome to Genesis.
So, all right. So let's think back to pre-TRP days. So, the purpose of a business is to solve a problem for another person, right? So, you guys, were obviously enjoying a certain level of success before you even came to the Remarkable Practice, which was great. What was going on with you before you found us? Like, why did you come to the Remarkable Practice? Like, what were you looking for? Like, what problems were you looking to solve? What challenges were you facing at the time? Personal, professional, like you can get into any of it, but what was life like before the Remarkable Practice, thinking back?
Here I've got a kind of a train of thought.
And I'd love to hear from both of you guys. So
yeah. One of the things where we were before TRP, before we ever heard of TRP, is that we were with the Chiropractic Business Academy, CBA. And there were some things that we liked about it and some things we didn't like about it. And, but we were all in, and we, before we ever bought our practice together, we said, we can't reinvent the wheel. Like, we got to hire a coach. Like, we paid $25,000, I think, before we ever opened our doors. And so we're like, whatever it takes, and went to a 10-day immersion, dropped in to California, drove out there. It was tough, but we made it happen. And so we try to implement 100% of them. And we got to a point where one of their highest coaches says, you pretty much out coached.
She said that our vision has exceeded their ability to coach us.
Yeah. Which I know. I know. So anyway, we're like, okay, well, we're done. And the reason why is because we couldn't find anywhere in the whole program of some docs that were doing wellness, cash, type of practices.
Practices.
Yeah, with multiple practices. Like there wasn't anyone else doing it. They had one other guy that had two practices, but insurance. But he did insurance. And so
right.
we want, and then they also were putting a really heavy push on us doing integration. And we were like, we don't want to do it. It's not who we are. I don't know how I can grow it. I can't buy behind
that. And that's
that.
the AMI group.
Yeah, the AMI group is who they're really pushing. And
right.
So anyway, so then we heard about TRP. We heard about TRP before we knew who Franson was, I think. Mm-hmm. And we saw something online, and I was like, dude, this is great. And so we just purchased the online portion.
The Academy.
The Academy. We didn't even know that you did one-on-one coaching at all. And so then we're like, dude, I love all this stuff, but it was an elephant. And it was like, it really stressed me out. Like, I watched all your modules, and I was like, at the time it was like 68 modules or whatever it was. And I watched all the modules, and I just kept telling Dave, I don't know how we're going to implement this, but I love all of this. Like, it is authentic. It's real. It's freaking amazing. But it's like we're still trying to hang on to what we were doing at the other coaching program, and with the day one. Yeah, how do we do both? And it was like we just drew a line in the sand and said we're done. Like, we're TRP.
That took a long time. That took
That
took a long time.
It took
we
a
didn't
couple of years.
we didn't
probably.
make that decision until we started coaching with you. But and then we met what's the couple up in Cheyenne, Wyoming?
The Smiths.
No, Smith?
Yeah.
Smiths?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we met
Heather and Marley.
Yep. And then they told us that they were personally coached with you. Like, we didn't know that Franson did that. And they were like, so that's when we actually made the phone call to you and said, hey, how can we start coaching with you? But then once we started doing that coaching, at some point and it was probably before we joined the CEO program.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That we were like, dude, we just got to go all in. Like, we just got to commit, stop doing these old things that we used to do from the CBA program, Chiropractic Business Academy. And like, let's just commit and just shift it and follow the scripts and follow the procedures. And that was a big jump.
The next big jump, the next biggest leap in the practice was bringing on my wife as the COO. That was instrumental because we had drawn the line, but then it was like we didn't have the time to implement. And so we're like, once we got the CEO on board, it was like she devoured it. I mean, she didn't devour the COO program. She devoured the
Everything.
CEO program. Every program there was, she mastered it.
Right.
And then it was like implement, train, implement. So every single person, every employee, every single person on the team was like, look, if you see something in this video in TRP that we're not doing to perfection, I want you to come talk to me about it because I want to know what we're doing and how we can do it better. And so once that happened, we literally almost doubled the practice. So it went from with CBA, we bought the practice from retiring doc about 220,000. It went up to about 400,000 within a couple of years, and maybe 450.
Yeah,
probably 450. We've never had a down year. Every single year for 10 years straight, it's always gone up. And then it started to plateau off because we just couldn't get to that next step. And then that's when we got the online training. And then once we got the CEO program and we implemented the COO, that's when it went from $500,000 to 600,000 to over $1 million. And this year it looks like we're getting close. We should be able to wind up between 1.1 and 1.2 million.
Awesome, guys. I love that. I love that story. And I'm proud of you guys for what you've done, but I really appreciate your trust in the implementation and just like implementing everything, right? Which is why we're on this call right now, right? So you guys have put into play the academy. You've put in, I know you're engaged in the forums. I know that you guys listen to the podcast. I know that you coach privately. I know that you coach in the mastermind with the CEO program, the COO program, your associates training. I mean, being at all the immersions. I mean, it's just like you guys just tick all the boxes. And that has made all the difference. And I appreciate that trust. That's an investment. It's not just money, right? It's time, energy, focus. It's all of it, but that's what it takes. Right. So I always make the argument that you're going to spend the same amount of time, energy, focus, and money. So it's a question of what is your outcome and your experience going to be. This is like, we always think we can get out of it with less. You're not going to get out of it with less. The question is, what are you going to get out of it? Right. So, that's at the end of the day. It's great. So, and I do remember meeting you guys personally for the first time, and it wasn't at a TRP event. It was at Miles' Boston's event.
Awesome.
And I had an opportunity to speak there, and you guys were behind me, and all of a sudden you guys came up and introduced yourself. I was like, we're in the academy. And I thought that was awesome.
That's right. And I will say, man, we were really impressed because it's just, I feel like you're one of the best speakers. We're pretty picky because we've been surrounding ourselves around very talented public speakers for decades. And my brother, Chris, being one of the most talented that I've ever met in my life. And so it's like when we saw you speak and we were like, this guy's quoting personal development, this guy is sharp as a tack. We were like, this is our guy, man.
And I don't know if I ever shared this with you, Franson, but when we were looking around for a new coach, having a balanced or harmonious personal life was important because there's a lot of coaches out there that are divorced. And it's like, not to say that they all do this, but maybe they just put too much into their business and they forget about their family. And so your family example, your family life, and that example was a big motivation for us as well to join in the TRP tribe, because it showed that you had your priorities right.
And I love the theme. We're building a remarkable business around a remarkable life, and that's important to us.
Yeah.
So it's
No
soon,
question.
first time we ever heard that, we're like, I'm in. So that's what I
yeah,
want.
no question. That was that was the most organic tagline. It was literally just something I said from the stage at one point. It's about building a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. And let's face it, we all walk with a limp, right? So we're all limping into this room, and remarkable does not imply perfect, but I take the compliment, because I see my kids, and I at least know we didn't screw them up, and I'm like, they adore each other. Camilla's such an incredible wife and then a world-class mother and just an awesome person and great chiropractor. So my kids love chiropractic, love chiropractors, and they don't resent the profession. They love the business, right? And they love to be at the immersions and be around everybody, just like they used to love being in the practice. So I think those are all telltale signs. And both Camilla and I, we're fully aligned, right? So, she's on purpose. She's as or more on purpose than I am. She's more on mission than I am, right? So, I mean, that's my secret, right? So, I'm so fortunate to have a spouse, a partner who is fully aligned. And, she'll call me on it because, I love the work and I love to work, which is a double whammy. And, so I'm the first one to be out of whack with that. But she has no problem calling me on that and reeling it in. And just shining a light on the fact that, our priority is, it's our faith, our family, our fitness, our fun, our finances. The Franson 5 is, it is something that we all have to be reminded of. But I received that, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you guys, because you're both superstar fathers with awesome marriages and a gaggle of girls between you. It's like there's a lot of kids represented on this call right now. And that's at the end of the day, there's nothing worth screwing that up. There's nothing worth it, right? So
it's really cute. I was on the phone with Avery and Jordan. Jordan runs the Texas practice. Avery is learning to run another practice here, and it was so cute to hear them. Well, I heard the after conversation, so I didn't hear the conversation, but Avery told me she got off the phone and she was like, Jordan goes, well, tell Dad about our brainstorming session. And they literally were just creating their entire future about creating this enterprise of Gateway and our family business. And they're just so excited about being a part of it. And just so you know,
watch out.
I know. Oh, they're like, whenever we're dead and gone, they were planning that. It's like pretty amazing.
So we had a call last night, and I was like, we've got our intern here that wants to start as a chiropractor working for us in January, and then we've got our CA we lost to chiropractic school, but in 3 years she'll be wanting to come back and work for us again. And then my son he just recently got rejacked again about the idea of being a chiropractor. My youngest daughter is jacked about being a chiropractor. And so I was like, okay, so we'll have our CA will be back in 3 years. My son he'll be back in like 4 years. And then my daughter, she'll be back in 5 years.
And then my twins will be there in 10 years.
Yeah.
I'll send my Sam out there for his internship in 4 years. So get ready. So let's.
Hey, I didn't tell you this also. Jordan, whenever she was scheming and dreaming about like what she wants to do and where her role is, she just wants to know that she will never tell you this, but she wants to be a TRP coach.
That's the end of this case study. Period. Hard stop. Mission accomplished. Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you. That's a high compliment. So tell her I'm going to have my eye on her. That's awesome. All right. We'll groom her. So perfect segue into the future. What's next? where's Gateway going? What's your 3-year view and beyond?
Man, I love that. And I'm so that, people ask, is it the miracles that happen every day in our office, which they do so often? And is that what keeps me up? And it's honestly, it's not. It's rewarding, but it's not. What keeps me up is that question. What does it look like in the future? And it drives me. And so like we're going to lunch tomorrow with a chiropractor. It's filing bankruptcy, and he bought a really successful chiropractic office, wellness practice, converted it into
Literally across the street.
right across the street. I mean, it was a great office, but one of the top chiropractors in Loveland. And we're going to go meet with them and find out how we can acquire his patient files. So anyway,
awesome.
So
Give
we're
them
going
all soft landings, right? Because that's,
yeah.
I mean, you guys understand, I'm going to say this briefly because you guys get it, but God only makes geniuses, and all of us got into chiropractic. All the chiropractors I know, I mean, almost without exception, I'm fishing in my mind for an exception. We all got into it for the same reason. We want to help people, right? So that you don't put up with what it takes to become and be a chiropractor if you don't have a heart for helping people, right? So that's the thing that we all have in common. But what about 25% of us have in common is the risk tolerance and the chops to be entrepreneurial and start and own a business. And that means that 75% of chiropractors don't have that. And unfortunately, you see such a large percentage of those not have that self-awareness or understand that about themselves. And as a profession, we just have not done a great job of showcasing the opportunities inside the field and creating the opportunities inside the field to be successful and not have to be an owner of a business to be a successful doctor, to be a great chiropractor, right? So I appreciate what you guys are doing. I know that's your heart, creating environments where people are more successful with us than without us. And that's an opportunity, and I think a responsibility of that on-purpose entrepreneurial chiropractor is create the environment, employ these awesome caregiver DCs, even the business builder DCs that don't have the risk tolerance, who are averse to all of the brain damage that comes with starting and owning a business. Like, let's create environments where all of these doctors can find a home where they can be incredibly successful and fulfilled without all of the stress and strain that comes with trying to write with your left hand when you're a righty.
Well, that's when we meet with him. He's a nice guy. So when we meet with him tomorrow, we want to also see if he's willing and humble enough to learn what we can teach him. And we, may even give him an offer to come work for us. So we'll see how that goes. But to answer your question,
I was just going to say on the 3 years, there's a lot of specifics that we could give, but now that we've got this bug of buying practices and finding different ways of negotiation, it's opened up our minds, and really that's just gotten us so excited. We just got off the phone with Bob right before you, and he was like, okay, so look, now's the time, like, you purchased, you invest, and now level off, let's make some money, and then you can invest again, level off. And
we're like, Bob, tell us when the green light is, because we're ready to go get another one. And you're like, okay, hold on, we got to make some money.
But yeah, there's not a shortage of practices to buy. That is not the problem. And so one of the things that we're working on is trying to build a recruiting system for doctors and interns, so that we can and team, so that we can just not have a shortage of that we always have great people to be able to pick from. And
we put a career tab on our website. How many chiropractors have a career tab?
So smart.
And it has all of the positions, check in, check out, NPC, they're all listed, and we can highlight them. They can click on it, see what their roles are, the personalities would be the best fit. All that stuff is on there, like PDP stuff, so they can go, yeah, this sounds like the best position for me.
Yeah.
So when you get into the enterprise position that you guys are in, I find the most energizing perspective is to think of it's marketing, right? So there's marketing, type 1 marketing and type 2 marketing. Type 1 marketing is B2C, finding customers to come into your business. Type 2 marketing is attracting the A players into your business. You're marketing, right? So if you think about it as marketing versus just I'm looking for, I'm recruiting, I'm hiring, right? So you're literally marketing for opportunities in the different positions, different roles in your team. Watch what happens when you now you have a marketing strategy. Now you have a marketing plan, you have a marketing calendar, you have a marketing budget, you have a marketing team for type 2 marketing.
Yep. That's exactly what we need to, that's what we're focused on. And that's kind of to answer your question, the next 3 years is developing that and then just continue to expand and grow. We want to focus on growing all the way down the mountain range here in Colorado, and then also focus in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and expanding throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
We'll probably go west towards Fort Worth because that's where, born and raised. We've got a lot of family and people around there. We got people all over the Metroplex, but we'll probably stay around in the Fort Worth area.
For sure. Yeah. I love the idea of a region, a territory where you can, like, if you model like successful restaurant groups, you'll see what they'll do. They'll go into a small community that's typically, a downtown developed area with established parking and infrastructure, and they'll buy up 4 or 5 or 6 restaurants in a community. Why are they doing that? Because they're centralizing things like their back office functions, their staffing process, their HR, and the ability to bring teams together to train, to cover roles. Oh, we're missing a dishwasher over here or a sous chef over here. We need a hostess over here. And you can see that that's the only way to really make a splash and be really successful sustainably in the restaurant business. I think that we have a lot to learn from that. It's like the ability to bring everybody, it's proximity matters, this physics. And I know that that's, ironically, you guys have practices in Denver and Texas, but you could have 2 regions, right? So you're like, okay, so we were going to develop this region and we're going to develop this region, right? So, but just keep in mind that you just want to be careful of the physics of getting just too much sprawl. Because
we don't want to go any further than that. Like Dallas-Fort Worth is big enough, and the Front Range is big enough for us to keep those regions, concise. He's on the waiting list for a plane, so that will help our commute a little more convenient. And then, but it's that's what our plan is, and I mean, one of the things that was most inspiring, when we knew that we wanted to be a chiropractor, we were personally recruited by Jim Parker. And the semester we went to Parker, he passed away. But the thing that we loved about Jim is that he was a pilot, and he flew to all of his little practices and all over the state of Texas. And we're like, dude, that's what I want to create, So that was our vision going into chiropractic. And then, your story that, when we met Stu the first time with Chiro One, I was like, when we saw him in the seminar that we're at, we're like, corner that guy. So we're like, I want to know your whole story, and so that was inspiring. So, anyway, so that's the
dinner with Stu on Saturday night.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Yeah. And when I did Camilla and I did an internship in Arkansas, and every Monday night when we're wrapped up, jumped in a plane, flew to Oklahoma for this guy to get adjusted, for him to adjust his body. And then we'd fly back after a full day, getting up in the morning, going to the ranch all day in the practice. Then we'd go down, get in the plane, 626 Whiskey Bravo on the approach, flying in, coming right down. We go get adjusted and then back, and we were back in the office on Tuesday morning. It's unbelievable, right? So it's just such a classic chiropractic story.
It's awesome. So anyway, that's the goal for the next 3 years and beyond, is just keep expanding. I'm so glad that we do have Bob, because these, our professional advisors, it's, dialing in those numbers. Bob knows numbers, man. That guy is right. His spreadsheets are just go on forever, but it's
remarkable money metrics. I mean, it's the complement to your operational performance metrics for your vital signs. It's your financial performance metrics, and you got to know both sides of that coin.
Yep. So that's good. I think one of our challenges in that growth is finding the right people, getting the docs. I mean, one of the things we're doing is, that we're now a training facility now for Parker and for Life. And so I heard next semester we're not having an intern. I don't know how that happened. We had like 6 or 8 phone calls from Parker.
You need to take the guy to lunch. That's why.
Yeah, I know.
So I've got the Peak Club is all over me for finding TRP docs who are willing to take on interns. So remind me offline. I'll get you guys an intern or 5, whatever you want, because
Yeah.
they get stacks of them at Life.
Well, and that's what we just met with their ambassador that actually lives here and in Denver. And we were telling her, it's just like, man, the Parker program seems to be blowing y'all's away. Like we get phone calls all the time from Parker, but no one has ever called from your P program, and we're part of it. And she was like, really? We've got hundreds of people, and
I'm going to bring them to the team building immersion in January and introduce everybody to the group. So there'll be a pipeline of interns on the backside of that. That came out of my Life visit the last time I was there.
I love that. That's so good. So anyway, that's what we're doing on trying to get the right team and the doctors. And then the other thing is it's managing the money and making sure that we have cash flow for growth. And so, right now we've used up all of the excess money that we have to buy the last practice. And so we need to secure some more financing.
Yep.
Or just get more profitable.
So, we can have a conversation offline about this, but, we've got relationships with banks now to get access to great capital. So if that's a conversation you want to have, I can make some introductions with that as well. So
yeah, that's great.
Remind me about that, because I'm getting us all ready for the acquisition program to come. So you need money for launch, you need money for exit, for the deals, you need money to bring in associates or expand your practice. But acquisition is going to be about providing funding. And these banks are lining up. They're going to follow your program. We'll fund it. So they're super excited. They're looking for deal flow, for good low risk deals. That's what they're in the business of. So, all right, last question. So speak to yourselves before you started the remarkable practice. Classic question. What would you tell the Hughes brothers who were considering the remarkable practice? Why should they consider taking the leap and joining the program?
What would we tell someone else consider?
Yeah, like looking back to you guys, think about what would you have needed to hear, speaking to yourselves right now, like you're sending a time capsule back?
That's a fantastic question.
So it's interesting because we've always been big systems guys, and so you're huge on systems and processes and procedures, and we could see that from the website. From the academy. And I think that would be one of the things. It's look, they have all the systems ready to go. Matter of fact, when we first got into practice together, we were looking for a coaching program. We called it a cookie cutter, practice in a box, here's how you do it. And we couldn't find anything out there. It's well, for example, what does the sample operation agreement look like? It's or, just so many things, and just starting up a practice, there's nothing out there. You could try to scour the internet, and the closest thing we found to anything like that was your program. And so looking back, if I were to send a capsule back to the earlier version of me, I would say look, guys, you know how important the systems are. You understand how important a coach is. You understand how, how the importance of scaling and growing a business. This has the entire system, everything you need, which again, I just to steal your line, is the 4 seasons of practice,
Yeah. My thoughts on that is,
thanks.
My thoughts are, is when would I hear that information? When would I find out about TRP? I wish I would have known about TRP way earlier, but, I think it was pretty new for you too. I don't even know whenever you started, but it's it would be really nice to know that TRP was there as a student and be able to launch the business and know how to be, or either, for some docs, how to be a great associate doc. How can you be a great associate doc and bring value to your business so that you can make more money? That's a great program, and so, but we came in a little bit further along maybe, and knew that you had something that could stretch us and still give us the value that we were looking for. And so I think at that point, learning about TRP, and what would be more beneficial is just simply knowing that we're here to take you as far as you want to go. And we have the systems and the support to show you and help you along that process.
I love that.
So I don't know where I would see that.
And our promise is that you won't outgrow us. Like, that's what I try to make sure, because we get asked that quite a bit. I'm like, you won't outgrow us. You won't be the smartest guy in the room. You won't be the most successful guy in the room. It's like, it's fun to be in a room where you're like, oh man, I'm not the right hand side of the bell curve here, and it stretches you. Let me ask you. I'm going to ask one more question, because now that we've brought a couple of new coaches in, and one of the coaches in particular said something to me that was striking, and it made me realize that there might have been a bit of a blind spot. It's like when a bunch of principled chiropractors get together, who are just on purpose and on mission, that we're so on mission that the last thing we talk about is the mission, because it's just assumed. So I was kind of like a shock and awe to me. I'm like, what? They're like, oh yeah, no, I had, her comment was, I had no idea you guys were such a philosophically sound organization. It's just not your reputation. Your reputation is not, it's not that it's not that. It's just that it's the business, it's the systems, the process, the procedures, the metrics, the numbers, it's the business side of the practice. And I'm like, I can see where we would get that impression. What's been your experience with the philosophical core of the organization, the purpose-driven, mission-driven side of it, the heart of the organization and our tribe? What has been your experience with that?
So that's a great question too. I would say, I can't think of anything in particular where you guys focused a lot on that, but it's who you are. And I think in every time you speak and all the things that you do, all the trainings, the systems, procedures, everything speaks to being principled chiropractors.
Yeah.
And we saw that clearly from the beginning.
We did. I mean, it wasn't until you asked that question where I realized, oh, I remember having that thought. It was like, these guys are principled, like everything about what y'all do. And so, and that's who we are. So it resonated deeply with us. So we knew that was a good fit. I wish that more of the profession could understand the value of that.
Right on. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you so much. Again, thank you for the trust and your commitment to excellence and just being remarkable. So you guys are awesome. There are so many nuggets in there. I'm going to be able to build a great case study. If I have any blanks on data, can I just ask Jerry to fill them in for me as I'm building this out? Just give her the heads up on that. And there's some nuggets in there that I'm going to grab. So I'll run anything by you guys before I use it. But I just so appreciate you guys. Just helping us help more docs.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate you.
Take
care, boys. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this portion of the podcast. I am so excited to have Dr. Erik Kowalke, who runs one of the greatest chiropractic offices on the planet, along with being the founder and CEO of SKED, with us. I always love partnering with companies that have a big vision. And that's one of the things that ever since, so I both as a TRP coach, I recommend SKED to a lot of my clients, and as a client of SKED's. So I've used SKED for years at this point, after having gone through several iterations of companies who are there to send text messages to people. But SKED by far has outlived any expectation or outworked any expectations that I had from a company that does that as far as the messaging goes. But their customer service is amazing. Their purpose is amazing. And we just, Dr. Erik and I just both got back from a great immersion down in Orlando. And Dr. Kowalke had the opportunity to speak from the stage, and he really encapsulated what I want you guys to hear again. But he encapsulated this idea that SKED is not just a messaging service, but they're a service that is out there to further human health and further the mission of chiropractic. And so that's what I wanted to tee you up, Dr. Erik. I know that lion behind you means something. So fill our listeners in, and so those of you who are just listening, Dr. Erik is standing in front of a painting of a lion that he'll describe here.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Chris. My wife got this for me for my 40th birthday. So it's was painted by a lady. I think it took her like 5 months to paint it. And it's mostly black and white, but there's a little bit of color. And the color represents the population of the world that's under chiropractic care. And if you can see on the video, you can't see very much color. And we know chiropractic's impact and penetration on the worldwide level is not significant, or as significant as we would hope. And I think I love SKED and chiropractic and our office, and really everything that we do, my wife and I, is furthering the chiropractic mission and profession. And I don't think there's a better opportunity in the next 5 to 10 years to add more color to this black and white painting and influence people towards chiropractic in a positive way than there is with technology. And if you look at the history of chiropractic, we've communicated what chiropractic is almost the majority of the last 100+ years face to face with people, one person at a time, face to face. And we know through technology, I mean, we have 4.5 million or 5 million people in our database with SKED, like actual chiropractic patients. And we could, through offices, they could send a text message and 98% of them are read within 1 minute. You can just communicate at a whole other level. So we're just committed to creating the best technological solution. And I truly see in the next 5 years, even our availability of technology and what we can build advancing so fast that we can positively shift the perception of chiropractic, not only with people that are in our ecosystem, but even outside the ecosystem, almost to where I was talking to my wife earlier, all the stuff that happened in the 80s when the AMA tried to take down chiropractic. I think a lot of that negativity still carries over to people's perception of what chiropractic is today.
Yes.
So if we can use SKED in this platform and the resources to positively influence the public's perception of chiropractic, and we can create enough momentum behind that with technology that even if I'm not here, this thing keeps going and the public perception of chiropractic is that much better. That's going to help chiropractors and our profession, and ultimately the health of everyone for generations to come.
Well, I love what you said there about expanding our reach in the population, which has not yet been significant. But all of us know how significant our care is to people who, as individuals, right? Everybody listening here, you, me, we've cared for people whose lives have totally been turned around with chiropractic. And so the individual impact we have is massive. If we can increase the depth at which we penetrate into the population with our messaging, then we can have so many more people having that same impact. And that's where, we really can change things. And so I love partnering with companies like you who are so innovative. And what I love about SKED is that you're a chiropractor. You founded this thing. You created it so your office could do better, right? Serve people better. And in the remarkable practice, we know that the arc of a patient's life cycle in a practice is from attraction to conversion to retention. And ideally that retention side is where we end up parking most of our patients, right? In that wellness and maintenance group. And your technology gives us the ability to easily do that, because the pain points that I hear from clients all the time is that our compliance, we struggle with our compliance. And when we're struggling with our compliance, that means more phone calls to and from the front desk. And we just have a hard time with people remembering their appointments and so on and so forth. I know in my office, particularly when we use the system as you recommend the system gets used, which I'll let clients figure that out for themselves as far as how they want to use it in their office. But when we started using it to its full potential, our phone calls at the front desk went way down and our compliance percentage went way up. And, we say that a compliance percentage below 88, 87% means that your clinic can't grow very well from there. And our goal is 92%, and we oftentimes go above that because of the SKED technology. So talk with people here just about those sorts of things. What are the specific problems that SKED and the SKED platform solves for offices? Let's just start right there.
That's a big question.
Yeah, because you solve a lot of problems, right?
Oh my goodness, yes. So two thoughts came to mind as you were describing that. The first one, before we jump off of impact, just like what's the most real thing today that's happening? We have a goal and a mission to get 1,000 chiropractors to have 1,000 Google reviews.
Nice.
And not just a 5-star, nothing. We want an actual testimonial on your Google pages. That would be 1 million chiropractic testimonials on Google, which is going to be seen by all of the AI technology. It's going to be seen by everything. It's just positive SEO for the profession of chiropractic. So all of our tools that we build around and strategy around reviews is so much more than just to get a 5-star review. It's that 1,000 practices with 1,000 reviews. But from the show up rate and compliance, here's the pain points. Why doing it the old way doesn't work anymore. Nobody wants to answer the phone. Like, they don't want to talk to you. They don't want you to call. And whoever's at your front desk that has to make missed appointment phone calls, they don't want to make the calls. So it's a lose-lose. Nobody likes doing it, and they don't like getting them. So that solution, there's got to be a better solution. And secondly, majority of people that are non-compliant aren't non-compliant because they don't want your care or they don't value your care. They're non-compliant because you're making it too difficult for them to fit your availability into their calendar. Most of us are only open 20 hours a week or something, right? And so we're asking them, yeah, come in, but now they got to come in and they got to fit them and their families like day and agenda of coming in to your schedule, and everything's going on with them. So if you don't make it really convenient for them to do it, gone are the days where you can print off a 12-month calendar and they go like put it up on the refrigerator and they come every, they don't miss a visit for a year. That doesn't happen anymore. People want convenience. If you can give them the convenience of jumping on an app, seeing what times are available with which providers at which locations, and is it busy or is it not busy, and it syncs to their Google Calendar and their Outlook and their iCal calendar, that is super convenient. They can do it on a Sunday night at 11 o'clock, their Monday appointment's at 10, and they realize I can't go at 10 because my husband's got this thing going on. I need to come at 12:30 instead. Previously, they'd be a no-call, no-show, and they'd be like, well, I'm just not going to go tomorrow because I can't make it. And then your team's calling them and not getting a hold of them and leaving a voicemail, and then you have all this extra work. Now they just jump on the app, change the appointment to 12:30. That opens a slot up at 10. Somebody 10 minutes later has the same, but the inverse of that, and they move their appointment to 10 a.m. and your slots managing. It's like you have somebody working the phone system and managing it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You just don't have to do that anymore. And that's really where we're striving, which I think makes us unique, is not only do we want our direct clients of SKED, our chiropractors, to have a great experience, we want their patients to have a great experience and make it really convenient. And we put a ton of time and effort and energy into the user experience through the app side. We're committed to that being awesome, no matter which device they're using and how they use it. And that connection in turn helps the office make a bigger impact by reducing no-shows and improving compliance and ultimately getting better results for people. And in turn, more testimonials, and in turn, more Google reviews.
Absolutely. I love it. The word that keeps coming to mind is friction. You guys are like there to eliminate friction from all aspects. I mean, you're so right with nobody wants to talk on the phone anymore, and it's super convenient to pop out your phone and rearrange your schedule. Usually people are on their phone looking at their calendar anyway. My wife just did this morning. So we own our practice. We know our staff like they're our own family. And my wife's like, my chiro appointment's at this time, but I really need it to be at this time. She pops on the app, changes her own appointment instead of calling our own staff, like that. And great. Now our staff at the office didn't have to take that phone call even from us. So it just works so well. So I would challenge any chiropractor out there to contact me with a company that does a better job right now than SKED at all of these things. And the other thing I love is that you guys are always innovating because you have such a killer clinic over there in Michigan. such a killer clinic that you guys are running into all the friction points that any clinic in the world ever would come into, and you're creating technology through the SKED app to help smooth all that out. So last thing is, hopefully people are inspired to like, okay, I will help more people and my people will be happier with our service. Hopefully we're inspiring people that SKED is the solution to that. And I want people to know, what does it really look like in transitioning to SKED? Like, how's that look? Not from the nuts and bolts of it, but just the basic steps of first you do this, then that, and then you're up and rolling with your everything.
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you don't know me, we have a higher health chiropractic in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So we have 5 docs, 2 locations. We see 1,500 a week between the 2 locations. We have almost 2,000 active patients coming and going every single month. And so I don't have time to spend onboarding new technology like virtually at all, you know? So we designed SKED and built our team around doing as much for the chiropractors as possible. Like we just call it our concierge white glove service. So we set everything up for you. So if you're moving from a system or you're not using any system right now, our team will basically go through what problems are you trying to solve, and this is what we see majority of offices doing to solve those problems, and is this how you want it set up? And they'll set the whole thing up for you. So we're really hands-on in the entire onboarding process. If you need 3 calls or 5 calls, or you want us to talk to 2 different people, whoever runs your front desk and vice versa, we'll do that in order to get you the best solution. And I think what I love most about this is it pays off forever. There's probably some way to describe this. I'm not probably saying it right, but some things you invest in, like let's say you're doing marketing or something, and you create this whole big internal office campaign. Well, in 30 days, that campaign's over, and all the work you did for that's gone, and you start all over. With technology platform like SKED, all the work you put into setting things up and structuring it how you want is going to keep working and helping you forever, for infinity moving forward. So it's work that you don't have to redo and start all over. Like every effort and thing that you create and put in there for drip campaigns to like educate all the settings, it just keeps building and bringing you value forever to come. Kind of like Google reviews. You know, somebody posts a Google review and that testimonial lives there forever. It's going to refer a patient 2 years from now or 3 years from now when somebody's searching. SKED technology is the same way.
Yes. Fantastic. So even reducing all the friction for the onboarding of it, you guys have already thought of it. And that's been our experience for sure. Another feature I want to throw out there that has been hugely beneficial to us and our clients is the SKED forms. So just so the listeners know, forms are built into the system, and you can create custom forms, or you can utilize the forms that have already been created, or you can have the SKED team make the forms for you. And then it just shows up as soon as a person submits them. There it is. The team can get it, whether that's your doctors or your new patient concierge or your front desk, whoever needs it. Upload it right into your EHR. It's so slick. Anyway, I could talk forever about what you do. Let's just get right to the point. Like now, okay, so how do people actually contact you? And I know that, you know, many TRP offices already know you. But just talk about how they get in touch and if there's any other way you want them to contact you.
Yeah, great question. So our main website is SKED, sked.life, no .com, just sked.life. On there, there's a button where you click to do a strategy call, and you can have the team tell them your biggest problems, your biggest pain points. You know, in 15 to 30 minutes, they could say, hey, well, this is how we would solve it, and this is what we would do. You could see all the different use cases on there. You could see the pricing. We have different plans from $99 a month all the way up to like a full concierge service where we change your appointment reminders for you every single week. We change your missed appointment reminder, a whole bunch of really cool strategy stuff in there. And just some really cool, like you can do trivia in your office through text messaging. You can do smart reply with leads if you're big into like growing your practice and you want to generate a lot more leads, so many different things. So that strategy call helps you dial in on like, okay, this is your biggest pain points and how can SKED help you? And so that's what I would suggest. Go to sked.life, click on that button and schedule a time to talk to our team.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dr. Erik. So innovative, so impactful. We love SKED, and thank you for being a practice supporter, one of our greatest success partners that we've had at TRP.
Awesome. Happy to be here.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.